There's a lot of people on social media backbiting and speaking ill of the Mujahideen. Even though we disagree with some groups, Islamic groups across the world, is it allowed to go ahead and say these things?
بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, يا أيها الذين آمنوا اجتنبوا كثيرا من الظن إن بعض الظن إثم. Allah says, O you who believe, do not engage in suspicion or avoid suspicion, because the majority of suspicion is a sin. Meaning, do not start to spread doubts and accuse people or to suspect people of evil without evidence, especially when all you know about them is from themselves is good. What evidence you have from them is good speech, calling for Islam, calling for Tawheed, calling for Jihad. This is not something that invalidates their own rights and their own sanctity and their own trustworthiness. So it's not good for us to assume or to question or to doubt their intentions or to doubt them of committing sins without any evidence that they've committed anything in the first place. Just first, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَا تَجَسَّسُوا وَلَا يَغْتَبْ بَعْضُكُمْ بَعْضًا. He said, and do not spy one another and do not backbite one another. And he said, does any one of you like to eat the dead flesh of his brother? So if the way you hate it, hate the backbiting as well. Backbiting is something very evil. And the Prophet ﷺ said it's enough evil for the believer that he repeats everything he hears. And another hadith says it's enough that they belittle or make fun of their Muslim brother. This is rejected in Islam. It's not allowed. And he said, O believers, do not backbite one another, do not turn your back on one another, do not hate one another, do not provoke one another, but be, O worshippers of Allah, brothers, ikhwan. So we need to be brothers in Islam. And especially those people who are not present in front of you, who are away, who are in distant lands, sacrificing and struggling, they have a certain sanctity over us that we do not betray them, we do not violate their sanctity by backbiting them or insulting them or slandering them. Even if you disagree with somebody, it does not give you license to swear or to insult or to make fun of them or to call them names or anything like this. The Muslim does not backbite other Muslims. And if somebody says that is allowed to backbite a fasiq or a kafir, this is in the context of forbidding his evil. But you need to establish first, is he really fasiq? And the fasiq is the one who openly he does the sins, or he openly admits his sin in matters which are major sins or is known from Islam by necessity. But the one who says to you, I'm innocent of the crime that people accuse me of, I didn't do that, and you have no witnesses for that, is not allowed for us to do it. Rather, the way the ifk came to Rasul about Aisha radiallahu anha, when they accused Aisha of a sin of fahisha, and the people repeated it without to verify, that was a great crime. And Allah says that if you hear something like this, then why don't the believing men and women think good about each other and say this is obviously a lie instead of repeating it? And if they don't bring witnesses for what they said, then they are the liars. So question yourself, did I really check and verify? Because this type of backbiting has many evil consequences. It depresses the ummah, it violates the sanctities, it harms them, it depresses the individual, it makes people doubt and suspect each other. The people, they lose the love for each other, they start to hate each other, they have division in the ummah. You no longer have that brotherly love and that unity, and you start to have infestation of grudges in the hearts of the people. If your own grudge does not increase, the person you are backbiting, they will increase in grudge against you. This is the type of thing that destroys the brotherhood and destroys the ummah. So we need to be careful and guard our tongue, not only to save ourselves in the dunya from these evil consequences, but to save ourselves in the hereafter as well. And remember, for those mujahideen, those who are in the jihad, those who are in the battlefield, whether in Jabhat al-Nusra or in Dawlat al-Islam, if you are backbiting one another, even the shaheed is not forgiven his backbiting. The hadith of Rasulullah mentions 2 things that the shaheed is not forgiven. Though all his other sins are forgiven, but the 2 that are not is the debt and the backbiting, because these are the rights of the people. Allah will not forgive you for your backbiting unless the person you backbit, they forgive you. So fear Allah and stop the backbiting.